I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service.
And we're back live here from the center of the earth, Boulder, Colorado.
Center of the earth. From the core.
From the core.
We are here with a special episode today.
Yes, sir.
So a little shorty. But, I think people like when we discuss, the
specific releases and collabs, etc.
Yeah. So we've got a big one today. Maybe our biggest yet?
Dare we say? Well, I mean, first off.
It was, you know what? I think that feels that way because this is the one that we've worked the longest on, without question. Maybe this is the most sought after one, yes. Really, if you didn't want it before, you're going to want it now.
That is the French Blue Kit from Orslo. That would be the only other thing that contends in terms of, you can't say contends because people are still seeking this out, but what we've got coming is here, what we're releasing, what we're talking about. I'm really, 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 really stoked about.
The feverish nature over that specific collab didn't have that like gained its popularity like years after the release.
Yeah, it's like posthumous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like that's like a different thing. Whereas this is definitely the one that we worked sort of the longest and hardest at, if that makes sense. So let's start out by just kind of saying what it is. This is a collaboration with Beams Plus.
Yep.
It's a travel suit. I think the easiest way to say it is the concept is we wanted to make something that felt like it would destigmatize wearing a suit as casual wear and was super packable, super wearable. You could dress it up, dress it down. We wanted to be hyper versatile so that we'll go through all the details, but if you were to buy both of them, you can put together a bunch of different outfits and you could really kind of live out of your suitcase with just these two suits. Like that was really the goal.
Yeah. And so, we're going to repeat ourselves here. There's also going to be a YouTube video of this. So if you want to see the suits, we're going to be wearing them, this, that, and the other. Yeah. So if you get some of the same information, sorry, but we're going to put it out there either way. It's something that you and I had fielded questions for years in the store, primarily.
Yeah.
And certainly when we first got our online communities going via Style Forum, Discord, what have you, it was, hey, I got a wedding to go to. It's in so-and-so. It says it's semi-casual, semi-formal, what have you. I don't know what to wear.
It's going to be hot. I don't know what to wear.
I got to travel. What's the best way to travel with a suit?
Yeah.
So, this was like, Beams had approached us after... Give the quick backstory of how we picked Beams up in case nobody's familiar.
Yeah, and like you said, we're repeating ourselves in a couple different places, so sorry if I do this too fast. But basically, long time ago when we first were opening up the business, we all met in a hotel room and we're going through the bigger pieces of the business and trying to figure out what is this exactly and what are we, what are our goals? And we had, big responsibility of mine was this big brand list. So it was making sure that everyone's opinions were heard, but also trying to make sure I put in all these brands I wanted to work with and then sort of try to carve it out to make it make sense for us and everything. And Beams was always sort of top of that list. I'd loved what they did for so long. At that time, this was a while ago, they weren't really in the US, I think, at all at that time, maybe a tiny bit, but barely, dude. It was still a very new thing for the US.
Yeah, Timbo, I think when we first started on that path, if it was in the U.S., it was very, very, very sparse.
Very sparse.
Very
just
sparse.
wasn't what it is
held
now,
in
certainly.
office, which we'll get to, and that seemed to be about it, from what I remember.
Yeah. So we, this was always on the list, but I could never get in touch, and I'm pretty good at getting in touch with people that I need to get in touch with. And this was getting to the point where it kind of became like a joke between all of us. Like we were, on Japanese LinkedIn trying to get in, in touch with people.
There would be times where we'd be like, listen, we got some downtime. Let's just lock in and find a fucking contact at Beams.
We were really going through I was at one point going through their notorious photo stream, looking up the names of anybody that looked like they were in the corporate office and then trying to find them on Instagram to see if they listed what they did. Yep. And this was going on for a long time. This is a real Where's Waldo
If anybody's unfamiliar what he's talking about, the photo stream, Beams famously had, would this have been a Flickr?
I think it's
or an Imgur, one of those. The staff would take kit pics every day for years. This is long before.
And they have a lot of stores too,
Yeah, and it'd be hundreds, thousands of, Japanese people who work in this world with their outfits and the coolest. From navy suits with baggy pants and sneakers to proper suiting to proper streetwear type thing. It was just really cool.
Yeah,
and much
it's still
more
a great
diverse
source of
offering than what we were seeing over here at that point when that was popping. Because I remember when I first started, you put me onto it, and I was like, this is tight.
It's still probably like the number one thing I would tell people, like if you want like inspo, like that's the place to look up outfit inspo, dude. And it goes back so far. Yeah. So it's something I used to look at my first fashion job. I would look at and just flick through and go. I'd go one at a time and see every single one, write down things I liked, and anyway, couldn't get in touch. I mean, this went on for a long time. Eventually, we had done some promotion where we had a bunch of postcards.
It was like postcards left over from Black Friday, or
who knows,
some sort of email list thing, something or the other. Some postcards we had on hand.
We had a couple left, and we had found the one thing that we kind of like kept hovering over is we found an address that had something to do with beams. Couldn't figure out what it had to do with. We were on Google Maps, and we could see if we zoomed in on the door that it said beams on the door. So we're like, we think that's an office for beams in some way, shape, or form. So we're like, fuck it, let's just send them a physical letter. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we'd send them a postcard. We wrote out like, we're huge fans. We love what you do. Here's what we do. We think would be a great partnership for you. We have all these like ideas. We have the, we love the, we're fans, we're customers. So, if anyone ever gets this gets into someone's hands, like reach out. Yeah. And then like 6 months went by, and I never thought about, I think we kind of were just like, I don't know what else to do. There's only been like a couple brands in the history of time where it's been like, I'm out. I can't figure it out. And that one had made the list. And then 6 months later, I get an email and says, hey, we got your postcard. Loved what you said. Loved the store. We'd love to work together. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, what like a soft crescendo to a long, Yeah. But it was really cool. And we were super happy that we got them and got to work with them. And we've had this really great relationship with them for all these years. And then, probably about a year ago, they approached us, and it was more or less like very casually, like, Beams loves to work with people. We really like what you guys are doing. We'd love to work with you in some way. Do you have any ideas around a collaboration?
Timbo, this was even longer that they approached us.
I think you're right. Yeah,
because remember, we went up the hill and had a meeting about it. Remember what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah. So, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, it was like, so the funny thing was, we've had this idea, like you were already talking about. We've had this idea like in our pocket for a while, which was
easy
like
to travel.
We just wanted to solve this problem that we were always seeing and having personally, but like. We'd had ideas. We'd seen stuff similar. I've seen like super high end brands like Brunello Cucinelli and stuff to do packable suits, but they're very expensive. And I've seen technical suiting, from brands that we carry, other brands, and you're like, that's not quite. It's a little too much. You know what I mean? Like that techie thing, I don't think blends super well. Or and I think it could, but just wasn't really working. Yeah. And I just think it was like something that we had like, well, if I don't know who would ever make this, I don't know who we could work with on it. Like, even if we were to like do our own private label version, it's like, I'm not sure who to approach because there's like two different aspects of this that are going to be difficult. Yeah. When Beams hit us up, I was like, we could ask him about that suit. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, but I was like, I don't know. It's complicated. In a lot of cases, just admittedly, sometimes brands just want to do something where pattern's already cut. You can do a custom color. Maybe you can adjust here and there. And there's some like limitations to it. And I'm not saying there's tons of limitations. And certainly every time we've done a collaboration, we've definitely pushed buttons to try to get them to change more and more things. But this one in particular, they heard out the idea. We wrote them a big pitch deck. We still have it. Put together all like the mood board and the pictures and everything that we were pulling from, which is definitely like very like Ivy League, like that era of things, which we knew Beams would understand. And we were like really emphasizing like it needs to be casual. Like I want you, if you dress it up, you can dress it up, but like I want it to feel like something you could wear every single day. I think that was like the number one thing that we wanted to make sure that like just it felt like a very wearable suit for anybody. They loved the idea. We were kind of shocked. We thought, there's going to be pushback on at least like this piece of the of the puzzle or this piece. And, because we were asking for an unusual fabric for this. We were asking for it to have like a utility component that were difficult, and we were trying to get the size like just right. Yep. So it's a tall order, but luckily like Beams just sort of like understood what like our vision was for it and like really ran with it right away. They loved the idea.
Liked it, yeah.
Yeah. And then the back and forth kind of started then, and it took about a year of going back and forth until we sort of got it right.
Look, we're going back to Japan in less than a month for a specific buying meeting. We were in Japan a year ago for this buying meeting when you were sick, and we were in the office talking the collab.
So it was only so I was very ill. We've talked about this at length, but this meeting was one of two we needed to take. Yeah. One was capital. Yep. barely made it through. In fact, Chase said that I needed to leave because of the way I looked.
I said, buddy, you really don't look good, so let's wrap this up and let's get you home.
The second one was this Beams meeting, and this was to kind of iron out some stuff that we needed to iron out.
Met a lot of the folks in person and went to the headquarters and then got right to work.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I am full on, like, I think I definitely had a fever of some kind. Like, I'm sweating. I'm feeling, like, dizzy.
Yeah.
Chase, you immediately lost a contact.
I lost a contact. I, like, rubbed my eye when I came and lost a contact, so I'm, like, trying to, one eye. Figure it out. I found the contact on the carpet, but it was all fucked up, and I wasn't going to put it back in my eye, so.
Yeah, we really crippled ourselves immediately.
We were toast, dude.
But we had, like, a really great experience meeting with them because, you know, you don't always get to see, like, even when we work with brands, we don't always, like, work that, we work closely, but it's usually through emails and, you know, FaceTimes and things like that. This was, like, a very one-on-one of them, like, trying to solve the problem basically in front of us. And you really see, like, we can have a vision and stick to it, but to see people really, like, not only just tell us, like, no, that won't work for this reason or whatever, but be like, no, we'll just workshop it until we get it right, you know, until we get something that works.
It just felt like there were definitely opportunities for them to, like you said, be like, oh, I'm not sure about that one.
It would be easier to do it this way. You know what I mean?
And instead, they were like, let's just sit down. And the fella goes, puts his hand up, gets handed a pen, has a notebook, and they just started doing it
tracing.
instantly.
Yeah, and they started cutting pieces of paper out and taping it to things to be like, does this make sense for the label? Does it make sense for this toggle? Does this, you know? And like they solved a problem like that we were like kind of adamant about. Like we'll get into it, but like we didn't want this one piece of the hat. We wanted it to be on both sides because it would kind of ruin the look, you know? And they just like sat there until they got it. And it was like, I mean, like, it was just nice to like, I think it's really cool when you have a creative idea and it's not all about, I mean, a compromise is not important, but like sometimes it's just like, no, I got this idea. I want it like this. This is how it'll be best, I think. You know, and they were not about pushback at all on that. It was all about like, how do we make this work? You know?
It was so cool. It was our first experience. Well, we had been to Japan before, but our first experience working with the brand in person. You know, we'd had our calls online and we've gone to Japan. We'd done buying in Japan, but never like worked and chopped it up in real life. And I thought that was really cool. Like you said, very, they're the pros for a reason, you know? Definitely put things into perspective of like, oh, dude, no wonder Beams is fucking everywhere in Japan. It's so sick. So that was really cool. Do you want to kind of get into what it is?
Yeah, we can get in kind of the weeds. So basically, like, you know, as simply put as possible, it's a 3-button blazer, and it is a pair of pleated trousers,
double pleat trousers.
Yep, and a bucket hat.
Yep.
So like that's the look we're going for, is this very like old kind of like Yale look of like little like kind of fisherman style hat with a blazer and a trouser that can kind of go with anything. So we did it. Let's start with fabric maybe.
Yep.
So we chose like this is again, you know, where it was kind of a tall order, is like we wanted it to be somewhat wrinkle resistant, somewhat waterproof. It needed to pack and unpack no problem. So it needed to be fairly malleable.
And because of those first three things, this last thing is that it needs to launder well too. It can't be it can't be not fussy, but then you can't wash it kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
and it needs to breathe, because we didn't want to make some hot ass suit that we're telling you would work in spring.
For all you going down to like a Mexico and Baja or something.
So we like basically we landed on like a 60/40 cloth, which is, you know, extensively, if you look back into like, you know, old Sierra designs, old any outdoor material, is they're usually using 60/40. Now ours is much lighter than like maybe you know, a stereotypical like anorak or something, obviously, and it's not lined, but it still has like all the functionality of that thing. So it's not, I'm not going to tell you it's fully wrinkle resistant. It'll still get a wrinkle in it, you know, but truthfully, we found that like giving it a wash, putting it in the shower, you know, putting it in the bathroom while you're taking a shower, or just starting to wear it, the wrinkles come right out. So
I gave mine a wash twice now, and let it dry on the table. By the time it's dry, like laying flat, you know, it's like mostly wrinkle resistant. I'll steam it here before we do a video, or I tumbled it, or like you said, you just wear it. Really, truly, it's such little fuss, little fucking around.
Well, and it's not an Arc'teryx jacket, but I can certainly tell you that it will bead water pretty nicely. Like if you're caught in some light rain, you're not gonna it's not gonna ruin the suit by any stretch, you know. And so we just wanted it to be something like as versatile as it could be, but still have the drape and everything that obviously it would need to have to like be dressy. Because I don't want anyone to come away from this thinking that we made some sort of like hyper utility thing, because it's not that first and foremost. It just has those things as well.
Yeah.
And we already touched on this, but really like the trickiest part of this is the fact that we wanted it to pack into little bags, basically pack into itself. So you could toss it into luggage and it literally takes up zero room. So that was tricky in that like the placement of the pockets really matters. The fact that it needs to like be pulled from like the inside out, and we still wanted it to be like a functional pocket at the end of the day. And somehow Beams was able to make all of those things work for us. So this thing, it's really easy to pack. This is not, sometimes you get these things and you're like, how the hell are you supposed to?
It's as easy as balling it up and shoving it in the pocket. You take you take the back inside pocket of the pant,
you start
in
pulling
the
out
jacket,
from the outside,
turn it inside out, shove it in there, good to go.
Because listen, I love Capital, but those pillow jackets, you got to know the rhythm. I mean, I can do it now, but it took me like a few times of doing it to be like, okay, I kind of understand like the method. And it's like tricky. This is not tricky. This is yank it in, yank it out, super easy. So we wanted it to be that level of ease, because that's kind of important, because I just think so much packable stuff is sort of mid because it doesn't pack that well. I mean, it does, but who's going to do it?
Yeah, totally.
This is super easy.
Oh, also, accompanying the 3-button jacket and the double pleated pants is a bucket hat.
I said that,
but we didn't talk about the functionality.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's the next piece of the puzzle. Really, is that the bucket hat we wanted to be reversible, which we didn't know if that was actually doable or not. Like initially we thought, oh, it's just a bucket, you just turn it inside out,
Yeah.
And yes, that's true, but we also didn't realize, there's a lot of like funky stuff, like the toggle and stuff needs to go on the inside and the outside. So they were able to make like a little buttonhole that can go in and outside off. So it's always like working, it actually works to, cinch it closed a little bit. We wanted, they came up with a really smart idea to put the band on it.
Yeah.
So on the one side, the band is the pattern. We'll get to this next. And the other side, it's the solid, which is really, it's a really nice nod to each look, and it works perfectly between both. The second thing we did was probably focus on not only getting, the 60/40 class one thing, but like getting something that made sense for like suiting. So we did sort of like a really traditional navy. I don't think that like with this type of navy in my mind, which is like not dark navy, it's more of that almost like dusky navy to me.
Yeah, but it ain't light either. It's
not light. No. It's like more like a gray navy, or like I was thinking like a Payne's gray type of look, where it can really. The goal was that it like you could wear black or brown shoes with it, which technically you can do with navy, but it's tricky. We made something that like would accommodate either one. So whatever you've got in your locked and loaded. Because I know not everyone has tons of dress clothes, you'll be good in this.
Yeah, I mean, for context, it came in the week before I left for Arizona to go to that wedding. And I wore the suit to the wedding with black pair of boots, black belt, black tie, white shirt. Worked out great.
And I wore it in New York with a pair of like maple suede Clarks and a t-shirt and a sweater, and it was great. You know what I mean?
So sick.
So the nice thing about that is like we also made the navy match the secondary pattern. So we wanted one to have a pattern, wanted to be solid. So you've got options. The pattern is basically a take on, we initially said we'd like to do something in like a black watch. We weren't sure what exactly, but we wanted to do it. We love black watch.
Yeah, we provided like a straight up black watch. When you close your eyes,
really traditional, like
tartan
Ivy.
plaid. Yeah.
They came back with us saying like, well, if it's going to match better, you're going to need something that matches the navy a little bit more, but still has that look. So what they propose is extensively like a micro black watch.
Yeah, like a mini check.
It's a brown. It's a navy. It's sort of like a gray. So it kind of like matches anything because it doesn't have a specific.
It's pretty ambiguous. Like it's not black, but it's.
If you wore it with a pair of brown pants, you'd see the brown the most. If you wore it with the navy, you'll see the navy the most.
Green,
you know what I mean?
cetera,
And the goal there was that if you have both of these suits, you can do top and bottom, bottom and top, top and bottom, bottom and top. Separate them up again. You can basically get like, I don't remember what it's like 6 to 8 looks out of this thing by just having only this on you, So you can really like mix and match this as much as you need to make it like feel fresh.
Yeah.
Also just like the goal is that it would match with as many things as possible, like it matches with kind of any color. There's not too much that would clash with it necessarily.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you want to do the navy blazer with a pair of beat up 501s and a pair of loafers like we were talking about in the pod we just recorded. That'll look great. You want to rock it as a kit. Like, for instance, we're going to do a video after this. It's a redo from yesterday. Yesterday, I wore Birkenstocks, a hoodie underneath mine, and you wore a tee and Cons.
Mhm.
Looks sick. Like you said, you wore it with the Clarks and this, that, and the other. Today, I have slip-on Vans and a Nanamika wind shirt. So it's like really the Nanamika wind shirt is also like that 60/40 kind of feel. It's like very active cloth, like very breathable, lightweight, roomy. Play it up or down, it truly works both ways.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's sort of this like destigmatizing suiting. I think that I think it's tricky to get a suit and actually feel comfortable in it at other times.
Yeah.
And look, there's something too, like a classic wool or flannel suit or something like that with a proper dress shirt. That's great look. Can't go wrong, no question there. But I think it's a little hard to parse out those pieces here and there without it feeling too formal. This is not going to do that, I don't think. Like, we really wanted this to be like work casually first and work dress second.
I mean, dude, I'm planning to wear it a lot this summer.
Yeah,
Straight up
100%,
t-shirt, sneakers, and both the kits. I was considering traveling in it. Like, it is so incredibly comfortable and non-restricting and no fuss.
Well, and maybe we get to that. Maybe we get to fit next, because this is probably the thing
we did go back and forth with fit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of trial and error and really just trying to like figure out like size scale, like what was just going to be tagged as, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we really wanted it to be comfortable, like, and that was sort of first and foremost, not oversized, but comfortable.
Because I wouldn't, as much as I love my stuff to be big, and I wouldn't say this is slouchy by any means.
No.
You know what I mean?
But
it's
the
just
pants
relaxed.
are loose and comfortable,
Yeah.
and we did a pull-on pant, so there's a little elastic, there's a drawstring, still has belt loops, so if you need to wear a belt, you're good to go. Still has slant pockets, still has inset pockets, still got like the traditional stuff, but the fit and the top lock really should work on almost anyone's build. Which is really, we wanted it to be pretty versatile as far as like it will look good on a lot of different types of people. You know, so the pants right away, quite frankly, more comfortable than most other things I own. I would, as far as just comfortability, I would wear those over jeans any day. No question.
Agree.
I mean, it's almost like it borders on pajama pant. You know what I mean? Like, because it's so light, it's so airy. There's a lot of room in the pant, but because of the double pleat, it doesn't feel like a wide pant. Like when you look at the silhouette, it really just seems to kind of like very minor amount of taper. I don't want anyone to hear this as like slim. It just kind of does that great arcing that old vintage Ivy suits do, and then just comes right to your foot, and then just really, you know, works great.
At your size in the waist, should fall right at the foot width. Tiniest bit of break.
Well, and because of the way they are, like, it gives you I mean, it's a higher rise, so you can hike that baby up, make it have that real nice vintage fit, real clean lines on the leg, or you can wear them around, you know, a little lower on the hip, and it'll do that, you know, gathering and stuff.
Won't be sloppy though.
Not sloppy. Yeah. So like, no matter how you're wearing it, you're sort of solid too.
Yeah.
Top is sort of the same thing, slightly oversized version of their 3-button. That was to accommodate the fact that like you might want to wear a hoodie underneath, or you might want to layer underneath it a little bit.
And also accommodating American sizing just a little bit, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Full transparency, in some Beams tops, I'm maxing out the XL. Like I'm on the very, very, very cusp of being able to fit it. So we wanted a little bit extra length in the sleeves, a little extra length in the jacket when going up to bigger sizing without it being long. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I think that like, I don't know. This is because we hemmed and hawed over all of this for so long. I really am happy that we did ultimately. I think the patience really paid off. We've heard from everyone that has tried it on so far, and that includes some people we've sent it to try it on. Even people you definitely respect in the menswear scene that really commented on how great it fit and felt, and that was really like the goal. So the fact that it feels that way is really kind of like what made it feel like, okay, we're done. We can move on. We can stamp this and have it, you know, made.
You correct me if I'm wrong, but you breathed a massive sigh of relief when it came and we unboxed it and we put it on, right? Like,
well, because the one thing I want people to remember is that like there is a language barrier. I mean, I can't believe how many people in Japan speak English. I feel like an ignorant asshole, you know, every single time because they're speaking enough that we can, you know, work off of. But it's certainly, there is a language barrier, no question, and only part of the Beams team speaks a little bit of English. So it's a lot of assuming that we're on the same page when you're not 100% sure, especially when you start getting into like measurements issues, you know what I mean, or like trying to get things just right on a fit and trying to explain why it doesn't exactly work, you know, and that's difficult. It's hard to explain that just in a regular email. I was
going to say also like an email chain of dozens
A lot of
and
people,
dozens
yeah,
and
that are
dozens
working
of
on the
people
project,
on it,
yeah.
and emails, and
Yeah.
looking back, scrolling back a month and a half and being like, what did we reference here in terms of units? Like, what were we thinking here?
Yeah.
And then our notes internally, and taking photos on Alec, because the sample size fit Alec pretty well. But so we were able to go from that.
Yeah.
He was like our constant, kind of, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I mean, I'm happy that you feel the way I feel, the exact same way. It came in just, again,
No, I mean,
so
up until
proud,
the
so
last
stoked.
minute, we weren't sure we had the fit right. Honestly, like, because based on the last sample that we had, we're like, this is better, but it's still off, and here's all the reasons. And they gave us a bunch of explanation of why that might feel a little different, and we just had to kind of, at the end of the day, like, we kind of hit a stopping point of like, I think we're just gonna have to trust that they get us and we get them, and we're gonna let it rock. And then final units came in, ripped that box open so fast, like, I need somebody to put this on their body right now.
Because with our staff, certainly on a day when everyone's here, we can comfortably accommodate small through XL in the true to size form and figure out, all right, you're a small, come over here, put this on, and let's start there and just see.
Yeah, and
just
I think
so
the
sick,
first person that put it on, they put jacket on, and I was like, thank God. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's how I wanted to fit. And then once the pants went on, I thought the pants fit even better than I expected.
Yeah, dude.
So, everything really worked out with this one.
Yeah.
And it was certainly not for lack of obsession.
Oh,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah. Certainly a lot of effort behind it to show. I'm not a pleated pant guy. I'm not like an active pant guy. I mostly wear, my fatigues, and I got a couple pairs of jeans, But these pants I tried on a bunch of different tops with it last night because of how comfortable they are. I just know it's going to be good for summer. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of those things where the more you wear this and the more you like live in it, I think you're going to start forgetting about ever dressing it up or it being any sort of anything, because even just like, wearing it 2 days in New York, one of the days being on and off an airplane and through,
you traveled
security
in it?
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was like really happy both ways.
Yeah.
I was really happy with just like how comfortable and easy it was to use.
Yeah.
I felt like I had plenty of pockets for travel.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so light that it didn't matter that I was sitting in it the whole time, even on an airplane. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It worked well. Plus, like when I wanted to take the jacket off on the thing, just took it off, put it in the thing, dropped it in my bag.
Yeah, money.
Grabbed it later when I needed it. But it is that comfortable. I think that, and then by the time I had put that second wear into it, I was like, oh yeah, it's like mine now. You know what I mean? Like I'm comfortable in this.
I agree. After I washed it and put it on again this morning, because I have a different outfit for today than the other. I was like, yeah, you know what? This doesn't even feel. Yeah. This is just my shit. I feel very comfortable in it. I'm excited to wear it. If it had released already, I would have just worn it to work. But instead, I brought it in on a hanger and shit.
And let's make it clear, like you're not a guy who experiments with suiting it.
No, I would say my fashion does not lead experimental in any regard. The way that I dress is not experimental.
Well, I just mean you don't wear any like tailored clothes. We'll just put it that way.
No, heavens, no.
Because I feel like I'm gonna come off as biased because I like to wear a blazer a lot.
Yeah, it is kind of your vibe.
But like this is I think it, like you're saying, like it worked right into your wardrobe.
Yeah,
no
dude.
issue.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more check or more navy? You've got both, but are you more check or are you more navy?
I think I'm more check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the colors of it a lot, and I think it works really well into things that I already have.
Yeah.
So I think I'm check.
I think I'm more navy. I have a black t-shirt on today with black shoes.
All navy today, so that makes sense.
I mostly wear all navy most days, but I felt like a suave villain in the black tee, black shoes with the navy suit. It feels cool. Cool. So I haven't really worn the check at all. I've had both of them, but I'm just stoked, man. I'm really giddy. It's Tuesday at time of recording this. I need it to be tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, but then Thursday we have our event, Patreon release. So if you're listening to this and you're not part of Patreon and this has piqued your interest enough and you want to cop it before we send an email tomorrow to the public, patreon.com/shop.canoeclub.com, you'll instantly have access to it.
Yep. Or if you're in Boulder, you can come to the event and then we can fit you up. We got a lot of people there in the suits. So, if you want to come see it on a bunch of different people, that's your chance.
Staff and close friends.
Yeah.
Friends of the shop. Ryan from Dry Storage, I think, is going to wear his suit. So, yeah, I mean, dude, I couldn't be happier about it. I'm really, really, really stoked.
It turned out great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to wear it in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Flex around a little bit.
Yeah, it's still to this, even though I know we're like out of it and we're about to release it, but it feels like we're still working on it because we've worked on it for so long.
I
So
mean,
it's cool that like it's here, it's gonna go out.
yep.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video of us wearing the suits and explaining it that will
Yep.
come out alongside this. There's another video that I believe comes out on Friday, the full video.
Yep. Full
That is
more like editorial video.
Exactly, more creative.
Yep. There's some creative editorial. There's also a ton of on bodies that will be uploaded all to the page, and I'm sure
Bunch of different body
everywhere.
shapes and people, right? That's kind of
Yep.
Yep.
And we got measurements. So if you need
Yep.
that, that's around. If you just need advice, obviously, ping us in all the normal places. No one here doesn't have it, so they can all speak with pretty complete authority on how it fits them and how they sized it and everything like that. Sizing is easy in my opinion. You go normal. Like I'd say that my most true size is large top, medium bottom, or like 32, 33 waist and like, I don't know, 40, 42 chest, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? Like, so, or how it's cut. In this case, I'm medium on the bottom, large in top. Could have done medium on top if I wanted to, if I didn't want to put sweaters and stuff underneath. So that's like as normal as I can think for me.
Yeah.
So it's easy to size. Just go truth. But obviously we're around to answer any specific questions, especially if you're having like specific issues or something.
Yep. We're here to help. Happy to help.
Anything else? Oh, maybe an important note. And this was really important to us. We wanted to make this pretty affordable.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk pricing?
I know. Like affordability is all relative, but with a suit, something that like is this considered, and where we're at, we wanted it to feel like not a luxury to own it, but something that like most people could sort of make work. So I don't. Do you remember that right off the top?
Let me pull up the prices because I do have them, but I don't want to
make sure we get them. Yeah. Because it was definitely important that this felt like an easy to get into suit. So that like, again, I think the reason wasn't just because we wanted to make it affordable, but we wanted people to not be put off by price so that they would, or like you spend a certain amount of money on something, then you just don't wear it as often.
Yeah.
We wanted this to feel like something that like, don't worry about it, just wear it every single day. This isn't going to like, it's not going to be a problem for 100%.
Yeah. So we have the 3-button packable jacket, Black Watch mini check and navy. That is retailing at $285.
Yep.
I think that's stellar. I think we're showing some love for
Mm-hmm.
everyone out there. The 2 pleat relaxed trousers in Black Watch check and Black Watch mini check and navy is $198 retail.
Yep.
The reversible bucket, we have it in 2 sizes: medium, large XL. I am a large XL proper. I have a big ass head. He's got a big old head. Cole, he wears a large XL. Medium large has worked for a lot of other people too. So it really does run the gamut.
I have a little ass head, and the
medium large looks great on you.
Yeah, it works. Yep.
We have that retailing at $75. So let me do some quick math real quick.
Yeah, there's one other important detail here, which is I'm assuming what you're getting at.
Yes. So that all together retails at $558. For $500 flat, you get the whole kit. You get a pair of pants, you get the jacket, and you get the bucket.
Now, the only way you get that price is you buy one of everything.
Yep.
You put one of everything in your cart while supplies last. Because I can't do this.
It is what it is. We're gonna have what we
run out
have,
of stuff. But that'll retail at $500.
Yep.
So $500 for a complete whole thing. You can make I don't know how many outfits out of that, but you've got 2 pants. I mean a pant, a jacket, and the hat. So you're good to go.
And I believe the kit is set up in such a way too. Like maybe you want the check pants and navy blazer, or vice versa. You can do that. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it looks great. In fact,
there's no rules. Yeah. So yeah. Man, I'm just stoked. I'm stoked. I'm proud. I'm thankful. I'm really excited to get this out to the public and let everybody get at it.
100%. So yeah, like you said, get in touch if you have questions. I think we've kind of covered it here. We've covered it on the YouTube. We're around. So and this is what we're doing this week. So
I will be posting on Wednesday tomorrow. Obviously, I have some photos of me in the suit in the wedding. I've taken some mirror photos here when we've been doing the videos and stylings just to have it. So alongside all of that, I hope the staff will do it as well. I just want everybody to see how diversely you can really wear this thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing
Cole's
to
a
us.
bucket hat dude. He looks good in the bucket hat and a pair of 990s and a tee. You know what I mean?
Looks
Like
sick.
hyper Japanese looks super cool. So we'll have a lot of places for you to look at and consume the media of it, educate yourself, and then ultimately cop
if we
on
can
Thursday,
make
Friday.
it work, maybe on Friday we can, when on the official release, we'll go live and answer some questions and stuff like that, and hang out and have a beer and talk it through.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wear one suit on Thursday for the event. I'll wear the other suit Friday for work.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, sick. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
you guys like it. We're stoked on it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But-
I'm fucking gassed
Yeah.
on it. So yeah, nothing's gonna bring me down.
Cool.
All right, see you
Thank
guys.
you as always. Bye.